Hello Penguinauts, I'm the Baby Penguin and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Fall of Kerbin. Last turn saw the largest loss of life in a single turn of Fall of Kerbin to date. The Battle of Cutland was won, but at a terrible cost. Tape lost 5 cruisers and a destroyer, and we lost 2 cruisers and a battleship. Hundreds and hundreds of sailors died, and we won a very narrow victory. You can see the USS Mercury here, surprisingly intact. The USS Victory not looking particularly victorious. Thankfully, all our destroyers, you see the KUS Jonas here, are relatively unscathed, although the Bjorn Signer here is technically still operational. It's so badly damaged, we're just going to scuttle it. All its crew are dead, its boiler's gone, it's just worthless. Pointless keeping it around. The Tom Hopkins is relatively unscathed, it's just lost half of its anti-aircraft armament. And then similarly, other 2 destroyers, our Rockhoppers, the Jesse Lee and the Still Guns, are completely without a scratch. I'm not entirely sure why it is that when Tape's ships get destroyed, they seem to just sort of capsize or sink, whereas my ships just get absolutely eviscerated. The Vino, I know it was rammed by the Sierra, but there's just not a single piece left. We've got the Illustrious there, and finally the USS Sierra. It put up a terrible fight, and props to the sailors, but they almost managed to get through our lines, but not quite. We managed to stop them before they could get to the motherland. But even though this is almost certainly a suicide mission, we have to push onwards. We've only got a cruiser and 3 destroyers left. Tape now has 3 cruisers within range, so even without what he launches next term, he'll probably destroy this force. But we cannot let him get his initiative back. We have to keep him on the back foot. Anyway, away from Cutland, we are assaulting Valley's Guard in the north. It's completely undefended. Tape tried to instigate a counterattack last turn with his heavy tanks, but he failed. He only destroyed 1 light tank and 1 heavy tank. So we still have a heavy tank and a light tank to attack with. We're advancing quite cautiously because of course there are these 20mm emplacements. They're not particularly dangerous. We engage most of them at long range before they can really get much effective fire back at us. So they're really not much of a threat. But this last one is sort of tucked behind the hill. So the only way I can actually attack it is by charging up over the hill and attacking it at extremely close range. And these 20mm, well, these quad 20mm are extremely deadly at close range. They'll shred straight through a heavy tank if you aren't careful. So we came up over the hill, got some shots down and destroyed it relatively quickly, but not before it blew off the front panel of our armor. Thankfully, Tape's nearest base is 200 kilometers away, so we won't be able to attack with a ground unit next turn. So we don't have to worry about being attacked by tanks, but unfortunately we are going to have to worry about his air force. Somehow he's managed to regain air superiority really easily. Our air force is in tatters once again, and we just cannot maintain air superiority over the Kerthenians. That's the one area that they seem to excel in. But now unopposed, we can roll straight into Valley's Guard and take the base for our own. Yes, we've finally captured a base, everybody. Woo! Yes, so we just roll along. This little gate thing here actually opens for us, which I think is freaking awesome. So we didn't have to just barge it down or go around it. No, it actually opens up for us, which is really cool. I don't know why I was so amazed by that, but it's pretty amazing. The cowardly Kerthenians surrendering, of course. Of course, we give our officers the command. Not one step back, they'll fight until their dying breath. But Kerthenians, no, they're only interested in where they're getting their next paycheck from. And of course, we found that they're actually vampires as well. Yes, you heard it here first. Well, you heard it on Tape's videos first. He admitted himself that they are actually ferociously capitalist vampires, which of course is probably why they're surrendering, because it's the daytime and, well, we like our garlic. Anyway, we're also assaulting Osiris Fortress, but we have to make our landing first, and there's a remnant from the original battle for Osiris here. It's called the USS Defiant, and it's only a little Dakka class, but it puts up a hell of a fight considering the odds it's facing. It's got 2 Royal class cruisers with 8-inch guns bearing down on it, and it puts up a valiant little effort. I mean, our biggest worry here isn't that our cruisers are going to get sunk because, well, I mean, it's only got 5-inch guns. But our biggest worry is that it's going to hit the tanks that are sitting on our deck, because although our cruisers can withstand 5-inch shells, our tanks are slightly less resilient. I mean, Tape actually combed over the Nova Cantera with his bomber last turn, and although he didn't manage to do that much damage to the actual ship itself, he took out the main gun on our heavy tank, which does provide some problems for us later. It still has its 30 cal machine gun though, so we can still use it as cannon fodder. So we do still use it in the assault on Osiris, but having its main gun gone is pretty annoying, so I guess Tape did succeed in that effort. Tape is really making use of his air superiority, and I know this entire plan kind of hinged around me having air superiority, but I decided to launch it anyway, despite the fact that we lost it last turn. Tape is really going to make us pay for it. I mean, he's made massive losses when it comes to ground forces and, of course, the Battle of Cutland last turn, which has an unfortunate translation in Dutch, apparently. But no, his Air Force really is giving the Kruolan Air Force a hard time, so I guess we'll try and push him back a little bit last turn. But as you see, the Defiant cannot last much longer, and it soon succumbs to the hail of 8-inch shells it is befalling. So, rather easily, we just make a landing at our old forward operating base, which Tape surprisingly didn't destroy. He could have used a supply unit to clear it up, but he didn't, so we're going to make use of it. We're not actually putting any aircraft in it this turn. We don't need it. We've got amazing anti-aircraft coverage from those two cruisers there, but of course, we're only 50 kilometers away from Osiris Fortress, and in the same style as last time, we can still move 50 kilometers with our ground units. So, we're assaulting Osiris Fortress for the second time, but this time, much better odds. 2 heavy tanks, even though only one has a working turret. Now, surprisingly, we managed to open fire on this one, which is over on the actual main base itself, really early. I didn't realize we could get a shot on it, but we can, and we take it out with ease, and that gives me an idea. Now, there's nothing covering that entire runway, so I do something a little bit sneaky. I decide I'm going to flank round. The main problem with assaulting these emplacements is the terrible rocky and bouncy terrain. It's that you have to get really close to them before you can actually get a good shot on them, and at really close ranges, you lose all advantages you have. Okay, they just absolutely shred you, as we found with the 20mm emplacement earlier, which thankfully was only a 20mm, so it didn't do too much damage, but these are 40mm. This is a medium base. We cannot be too careful. So, we're going to flank around on this runway here, and what I decide to do is I stop the one with the working gun, and then what we're going to do is you see, guard mode relies on having either visual sighting of the target or the target revealing their position by opening fire. It just needs to have some kind of firing solution so you can work out where the enemy is. So what we do is we inch forward our damage tank as cannon fodder and wait to be ambushed. We just inch it forward little by little until it opens fire, and then as soon as it opens fire, as you see it does now, we try and get back as fast as possible, and then our working tank opens fire as well, and it soon takes it out. We do take a few hits, but thankfully Kerthenian gunners can't hit for shit, so we take it out with relative ease. Our damage tank did take a few hits, but it's still intact. It's lost a few panels of armor, but it's still working. So that actually worked surprisingly well, using this tank as bait and then annihilating the emplacement once it reveals its position. So we're going to do it again. We just sneak it forward ever so carefully until the 40mm emplacement opens up. This is actually, I think it's a much better tactic. I mean, Tape and I have decided that you have to assault. When you use ground units, you have to use guard mode, because if you're using manual aiming and doing sniping shots and stuff, it's not fair on the defending guard mode. So of course, there we go. It opens fire, it reveals its position, but this time we're not fast enough, and it gets a lucky shot in between our armor panels, and it blows our obsolete, well, not obsolete, well, yeah, they are going to be obsolete next turn, our damage tank sky high. Thankfully, our operational tank soon dispatches it, and Osiris Fortress is ours. Yes, a second base. This is a medium base as well. Tape is really going to feel this if he doesn't manage to take it back. Tape can't attack either of these bases that we've taken with ground units. He has nothing close emaugh. So, yeah, Tape really can't do much about this aside from launching air attacks. We do just sort of state our intentions by opening up with our 30 cal machine gun on the remains of that emplacement there. But we march, well, not march, we roll. Korolans are too lazy to march, really. Nah, we roll up to the command center and accept their unconditional surrender from the cowardly Kerthenians. And then, of course, our biggest danger is Tape's air superiority and his ridiculous air force. Okay, his air force is massive now. He's got an attacker, 3 fighters, a bomber, and whatever he launches next turn. So we launch 3 fighters as a sort of air defense thing. I'm not so certain whether we'll be able to hold Osiris Fortress, but I am confident that we'll be able to hold Valley's guard. But Tape has left a little undefended supply unit, and well, it will be rude not to destroy it if he's left it so tantalizingly close to Osiris Fortress, right within our grasp. So we just fly past and open up, give a little strafing run, and it goes down soon enough. Not particularly glorious engagement for this fighter pilot, but you know, you've got to get your strafing practice done sometime. Of course, these fighters, I'm not sure whether they're going to survive the next turn, but it's not a biggie because, of course, next turn we're advancing to World War II and things are going to change massively. So yeah, we put out 2 more fighters at Valley's Guard to see if we can hold it off. I'm not sure we'll be able to hold off a massive air attack, but with all our ground fire, hopefully we'll be able to keep Tape's bombers at bay. And then, finally, I've decided against attacking Tape's forces in the south. There's so many of them, we'd only be able to attack with 2 tanks. It would be kind of pointless. So instead, we just dug in at Azamec. We've got the KUS Declan to provide anti-aircraft cover, and then 2 lines of defense. We've got this 40mm emplacement and a 3-inch gun carrier overlooking this sort of plane here. And if Tape's tanks and aircraft manage to get past that line of defense, we've got a second one with 2 40mm emplacements and another 3-inch gun ready there. Now, the Declan won't be able to stop Tape's tanks if they advance and they take over the base through the land. It can't get a firing solution, but hopefully it'll be able to keep its air force at bay because that is the biggest threat to us right now. And of course, last but not least, we're launching the KUS Pulsar, which is going to go help our forces in the north. So it has been quite an exciting turn. We've taken 2 of Tape's bases, we've pushed into Kerthenia, we've broken the stalemate. Tape and I are actually going to have a bit of a Christmas ceasefire. We're going to take a break for a month. So obviously we'll have Tape's episode coming out soon. But after that, we'll probably come back in January. We're both very busy over Christmas. We kind of just want to enjoy Christmas. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.